Hey, this is Tom, and welcome to Sense Music Media. Today we are talking to Steffen from OBSCURA. Let's do it. Make sure you like and subscribe because we have got a huge year and we are just getting started.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Jesus, where are you? It looks like you're on a. Oh, you're in a. Sorry, I thought you were in like some sort of private plane or something.
Ah, I wish. No, I'm in a tour bus right now. We are touring with my other band, Tulkandra in Europe, and this is all the glorious, lovely bus lounge.
All the
Oh,
mod cons. I love it.
how
So,
you?
whereabouts is the bus at the moment?
We are in Germany right now. We have four shows left, and then I'm heading to NAMM show, and then we start with the new Obscura production in February. So busy times, but better busy than bored, you know?
Look, it's funny you should say that because I imagine you would probably not be bored right now. You probably know where have you already done two interviews? Am I interview number three?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a feeling I won't be the first person to mention this. What has been going on over the last week or so? On like in your own words, how would you summarize what's been going on with the in the comment sections on a lot of obscure socials right now?
Well, I think the latest single, Even Fall, is quite controversial for a lot of people, and it was actually actually quite cool because this was exactly how it was laid out on the previous album, A Valediction. If you're familiar with that one, we had a similar song, When Stars Collide, with clean vocals of Björn Stritt, which was more or less like a blast beat power metal ballad, if you want to call
Mm.
it like that. So completely out of our comfort zone. And with Even Fall, it's the same. But once the album drops in early February, it's obviously that we are still a death metal band to the core. But it's always fun to tease fans a little bit about it. So
I
just listen to the entire record, and then
I
you
did.
see it's.
I listened to it this
Okay.
morning while I was washing up. Where I was going with that though was Alex had done a post about a week ago about the bass line at the beginning of I'm sorry, Evenfell. I don't have the name in front of me. Um, how would you describe the situation? He seems aggrieved, and a lot of fans in the comments would agree. What is your perception of what's happened? How would you describe it?
Well, I think he's very frustrated not being in the band anymore, and therefore it's always easy to go public instead of addressing a problem directly to
Mm.
someone. So that's the short version. He's a good guy. He's also a fantastic bassist, but I think that was quite impulsive action in the very end. So if I have a problem with someone or in general in real life, I address it straight to the person. I pick up a phone
Mm.
and do that. But if you go just public, the intention might be a little bit different.
How long ago?
That's it.
When was the last time you spoke with him? Because this came
Um,
up a week ago. Has it been a while since you guys have spoken, or
no, since a week, and I reached out to him and asked what's going on. So
so you have spoken? Okay,
yeah, yeah. But I
all
don't
right.
do that in public because I think that's if there's something you have to talk about, you talk about it, but you
Mm.
don't do all of that in public because everybody is looking quite bad about it. It's
Yeah,
also falling on your own feet. So if you point out to someone, there are also at least a lot of people who question why you do that in public. So
mm. Dirty
uh,
laundry is never a good thing
no,
for social media. But
he's frustrated at some point, and that's okay. But I wish if there's a problem, you would just reach out in person. So
would you describe it as have he and you resolved it in your own way and whatever? Have you? Do you think you've come to a resolution, or is it still an open issue?
I'm waiting for his response. So I sent the guys the entire record to listen to because I do
Mhm.
not have anything to hide, and then we see how that goes.
Okay, all right. Oh, look, man, thank you for your candor. I appreciate that. Am I the first person to ask about that?
Actually, yes.
Really? Interesting. Well, there you go. Go me. This is my first interview for the year. So
Oh wow.
you are setting the tone with me right now. Excellent. So, mate, look, from so full disclosure, so I wasn't familiar with the band. So I've this was my introduction to the band was the press release for this album and listening to this album and then going back and exploring your previous releases. While I didn't get a chance to listen to every one of your previous albums, what I did notice was that I feel like there was a lot more kind of in your face technicality in those earlier albums
Yeah.
than is evident, particularly in the lead single that you've put out. Was that a how would you describe that evolution? How was it intentional? Was it something that just happened by accident?
No. So first of all, we always have been a death metal band,
Mm.
and to the core we are, and that will never change. But at the same time, you don't want to repeat yourself. I mean, I did all of those records like 15 years ago, and I don't want to do the same over and over again. So I try to add a little bit more to the palette here and there. And there's always the one or other song who stands out a little bit. On the other hand, there's a lot of like orthodox songs that are let's call it covering the classic sound of the band. So when it comes to that, I think every artist want to just go on and make something new. If if I see it from my perspective, we never drastically changed our sound. Of course, every album has a slightly different pace, but if you look into the riffing, into the arrangement, into um, yeah, the songs itself, how they are built, how they are played, which kind of techniques are used, not too much changed. Um, it's just the style and the sound I love, and I'm always continuing since more than 20 years. Of course, um, we're influenced by everything around it. Sometimes you move to a different country, sometimes you, I don't know, hear a different music that somehow inspires you. And at the moment, I love bands like Tribulation from Sweden, if you're familiar with that band, or the Bee Gees. And also, it always is what I think is a very big influence is where you are and which state of your life you are. That somehow influences you. When I was, I don't know, 17, 18, 19, of course, you had to prove and show everyone what you are able to play and, you know, the show off years, let's call it like that. But
Yeah.
these years, I'm more attracted into storytelling, like into an album, writing an album front to end that keeps you entertained, that just is interesting, you know. And I don't care if a part is technical or if it's super progressive. If it's a good song, it's a good song, and if it fits to the band, it fits. So the approach is a little bit more. I do whatever I want.
I like it. I like it. How would you describe the writing process for this new album? Like, what were some of the biggest challenges?
Well, we always try to use both sides the best way. One side is transcribing music only on Guitar Pro, only on transcription programs and notation programs. And the other extreme is just jamming around. But the music we play is not made for jamming at all. So what I do is I'm recording a couple of riffs when I'm working around at home. I have a certain collection, then I start building rough arrangements. And with that, I start transcribing everything into Guitar Pro. And there I start analyzing it, arrange it, and add all the extra layers. And from that, I start building um, the choirs, the synths, and everything. So it's always a back and forth. I always try to pick the diamonds of both worlds. And when it comes to songwriting, sometimes the song takes 2 months to be finished, and sometimes it's 2 days. But you never know upfront, so that's there's always a big miracle and how it comes together.
And sometimes it's 20 minutes. It depends how well you.
I wish.
Wasn't that the thing that the story that Black Sabbath wrote Paranoid in some just ridiculously small amount of time? I can't recall. It's escaping.
Who,
Yeah.
not too
What a
familiar
shock.
with that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Even back then there was a lot of pressure when it comes to studio time and recordings and everything. So happens. But in the very end, nobody asked how it happened, but how it sounds. What's the
Yeah, yeah.
result?
They don't give a shit what the ingredients are. They just care if it tastes good.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the best metaphor. Mate, how would you describe the greater music scene in Germany as a whole? And I'll preface this by saying not just metal, not just the heavy walls that maybe you and I run in, but just as a wider thing. How would you describe Germany's music scene?
It's a very good question. I would say we are somewhere quite balanced because there's room for everything. So, like niche music, like I'm just talking about the tour we are doing right now.
Mhm.
It's a Black and Death metal package. We are playing venues with like 150 to 300 people capacity. So that's very small, and that's quite interesting because in all those rooms there's also a space for all other kinds of music, like I don't know, reggae, synth, techno parties, whatever. So all niche somehow find their spot. And talking about the very small clubs here, but also mid and big sized venues are available. So what I think that the cool thing is you're pretty much free to do what you want. It doesn't matter what kind of art you do. There's a lot of space for it. We do not have the sources and the funding, like, for example, the Scandinavian countries or the Netherlands. They're quite famous for that, but that's a political side. So we do not, for example, we have a very big issue finding rehearsal rooms in big cities like Munich, for example. Munich is one of the most expensive cities in Europe overall. That's on par with Milano, Italy, and London, UK.
Mm.
So finding an apartment is an issue, but finding a rehearsal room is almost impossible. So that's a problem. But aside that, when it comes to music, you have all kinds of. We have the tradition of summer festivals. So between the end of June and the end of August, everybody's just camping, visiting festivals for I don't know 3, 4, 5 days, and having a good time. That's what we do here. In
Mm.
other countries, in other continents like the US, Australia, club shows are more common. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit a different culture to visit and enjoy shows. But I think the big pro is simply that there's a place for everything and for everyone, whatever kind of music or art you're into. Um, I would say in Germany you're happy to do that, or even if you wanna start your own festival or your own club show, if you want to start as a promoter, um, just go for it. No one is hindering you.
Mm.
So it's
Yeah,
very open-minded in the very end. I think that sums it up.
I like it. So, looking back over your career and all the ups and downs of it, what are some of the hardest lessons you think you've learned?
Um, there are a couple of lessons. So we had our fair share of good and bad times, to be honest. Um, I would start with the good times and all the musicians I was looking up to when I was a kid, when I started playing guitar. Most of them I met, and I was even able to play songs with them on stage or go on tour with them. And even if it's just a small production, I love that so much. This is absolutely overwhelming. Last year, for example, we played a co-headlining run with US American band Cynic, which was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved
Oh.
this band and had a very good time. The same we did with Atheist 10 years ago. I played all those shows with Death to All a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
Steve Georgia played in Obscura in a Japanese tour. So many great achievements over the years. On the end, on the other side, um, there have been a lot of setbacks. For example, when you don't get your visas filed for the US, we lost ten thousands of dollars for when we were not able to play SummerSlaughter in 2015. There are always some personal fallouts that are surprisingly coming across when you don't expect it. Um, shit
Grudges
happens.
can endure, can't they? They
Shit
last.
happens. Uh, but I think the most important lesson is to just soldier on, be disciplined, and if you fall down, just stay up and walk again. So that's a saying we have, and that's what we or I did with the band many times. Every time we had like I don't know, for example, a tour or a difficult album production, it's like, oh, difficult, but the next one will be better. And that's how we build it up. I mean, the band started as a small, um, yeah, as a local band with kids starting to play music, and we never had a hype. We never had, I don't know, some big names supporting us somehow. We just built it step by step by step, and here we are. We are touring the world. We are talking about album number 7, and most of the bands that started with us, they are not there anymore. That's also one of those truths. So as long as I love the music, as long as I love traveling, I'm going on. And if there's another setback coming along, shit happens. But there are maybe the day after the sun is shining again. That's how my approach to life.
I like it, man. Hey, Stefan, thank you very much for your time today, dude. I hope, yeah, obviously, we're right at the start of the year, but I hope that whatever goals that you set out, you achieve. And yeah, man, well done on the album. So take care of yourself, right?
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you this morning. So
Uh,
cheers to down under and see you hopefully very soon.
no worries, mate. Thanks, mate.
All
Bye.
right. Ciao.
Bye.